I'd like to share with this little gadget I've just picked up from Aldi. It's a little mini food processor, and it has cost me $13.99. And I must say I'm very, very impressed with it for what it does. It's got forward and reverse, a chopping and a blending tool, and there's also another attachment for doing whisking. But the thing I want to show you is for chopping up some vermiculite. On the last video I uploaded, there's a comment on there when I put vermiculite into the soil. Somebody says it looked more like perlite. The reason being for that, it's quite a coarse grade vermiculite, because you can buy it in different grades, and this I've got the coarse. But I've just stuck a batch into the little food presser and tried it, and I'm amazed at the quality of the fineness of the stuff. It's really good. It's like well, as fine as like sand. It's really good. So I'll put some in, and I'll just show you what it's like. Well, I've just popped it in. As you can see there's some hefty chunks, so I'll just give it a whiz and see what happens. As you can see there, that's done a mighty fine job. Well pleased. I'm going to try it now, well, a bit later on, with a few vegetable leaves, cabbages and whatever, and then we'll do it for the compost heap. And that there is a comparison. Obviously the one on the right is the straight out the bag, and the one on the left has just had a 10 or 15 seconds through the blender, and you can definitely see the difference. I've just run some kitchen scraps through the blender. That's I think it was cabbage leaves, parsnip, carrot, stuff like that, potato peelings, and it's done quite well. I had to do it in 2 goes, obviously, because the size of the bowl, but that's no hardship. I'm sure the worms will appreciate it. Don't look very appetising to me, but I'm sure they're going to enjoy it. Well, the rain stopped, but the cold weather's arrived with a big bang this morning. Come over here, it looks as though the glass is frozen on the greenhouse a bit, so I'm just going to nip inside and have a look what the temperature dropped down to last night. As you can see there, it's 0.1 of a degree, so it's just above freezing, and it's actually now 1.2 degrees, so looks as though we're in for a cold day today. While the weather is dry, I'm going to get these couple of beds here sorted out, and one of the jobs will be getting some rotted horse manure on top of that. Obviously get the weeds out first. I've still got a few Swedes left in here, but I'll try and get this one done today, weather permitting. That's if the rain holds off, but we'll see. I put this out yesterday for the birds. It's a bit of seed and lots of mealworms. That was absolutely plastered yesterday, and you can see by how much it's gone down, so the birds are feeling the cold as well. So I'll keep my eye on that and make sure it stays topped up. I'll just show you inside here. This is the Enviromesh cage I got, where I got my overwintering onion sets and some garlic and some elephant garlic. So I'll just nip the cover off and show you. That's 5 sets of Japanese overwintering onions. They seem to be doing okay there. And just move along there. The next row along, a couple of rows, 3 rows, is the normal garlic. This here is the elephant garlic, and that seems to be doing quite well. Some nice thick stems on there. There's 3 rows of that. As nice, you know, these are my beds where I keep my horse manure in. Believe it or not, about 3 months ago this was level with the top. You can see how it's gone down. So I'll believe in that for the rest of this year probably. But I'll be moving across and getting the manure out of these 2 beds. after I've shifted all the wood and that off. That's been in there, ooh, good 9 months, 10 months. I've just took the cover off there, and there's a lovely rotted, well rotted horse manure there. You can see, looks as though I've had a little visitor from the rats in there with the tunnels, but I'll get the fork in there. If they're in there, they'll soon come out. Well, I've just run the 5-prong and cultivator over the soil, and I must say, considering all the rain we've had, the soil's in great condition. It's nice and crumbling, it's not too wet either. So let's get some black gold on the top now. I reckon I put about 10 decent sized barrel loads in that bed to top it up, and as you can see, it's put a fair dent in that pile there. You can never get enough of this stuff, but that'll do. And I've got about the same in this bed here. Each bed's about 4 foot square, about 4 foot high, and except for the one on the end, that's about 8 foot deep. But as I say, it's gone down to half level. That was topped up to the top, so as soon as we get a fresh delivery of manure, I'll be working like a soldier ant to fill that up again. Well, after about 10 barrel loads, I think that's about it. It's topped up now with a good dollop of horse manure, and what I'll do now is cover it with some black polythene and let the worms take it down, ready for planting in the spring. I'll just show you, I've got a couple of active compost bins on the go at the moment. There's the yellow early bins. Lid up. And there. So, around. As you can see, this is rotting down nicely. It's a mixture of the stuff I've put through the blender and the shredder, mainly household waste. What I'll do, I've got some more shredded paper to do, and then I'll put a nice drop of that horse manure where I've just fetched out the bale. I'll stick that on the top as well. That's a little dressing of shredded paper in there. What I'll do now is just put a layer of rotted horse manure on, then I'll put the cardboard cover back on the top. Right, so here we have a dollop of the manure out there. What's it? We spread that over there. There's quite a lot of worms in this rotted manure, so hopefully that'll help the bin as well. There's the layer of the rotted horse manure now, so I'll just put the lid back on. A bit of corrugated cardboard. Get that pressed in. And close the lid back down. So I do need to insulate the bins like Mick had done his. I've just got to get hold of some carpet and wrap it around there. We've got stew tonight, and I've just picked a little swede and 3 more swede candles. I'm coming to the end now, but I'm still coming up a decent size. So we've got that for tea tonight. Well, we've had a few weather warnings on the various stations and on the apps and that we potentially in for a -5, 6 or 7 tonight. So I've got a few plants in the garden that are quite tender and I don't really want to lose them. So what I'm going to do is move them up onto the greenhouse on the plot where I'll be having the candle heater under the terracotta pot. I'll just spin around and show you the first one. This one here is a cordyline, or sometimes called them tall bay palm. Now I had that, this must be over 10 years old. I actually bought it in, I think it was painting or somewhere like that. And it still keeps going stronger. I just wrap it up like that in the winter, keep it out of the bad frosts, and it seems to be doing okay. So I'll just put it on the trolley because that pot does weigh quite a bit now, and I'm going to wheel it as best as I can down to the greenhouse and struggle with it to get it inside. I've got another 3 of these Japanese isopalm items to tuck into the greenhouse, and then we can get the candle on the go. I've gathered all the bits and pieces together to get the burner going now, so I'll just run through you what we've got. Firstly is the 3 maples. So these 2 here what they call isopalm item, and I think this one here is the dissectum, the one with the feathery leaves. And there's my cordyline, and this one is another maple. It's got a funny name. What's it called? It's Isa Shirazawanum, or it's a really nice, it's almost tree type thing. And so there's them 3 there, and these come to the base now. It's just a terracotta base. I don't put it on a couple of boards across just to lift it off the ground. The first pot which will go on is that one, followed by, I think these are called long toms, and there's me 100+ hour candle I got, which was a Brian Bastable UK Here We Grow. He did them, and he had great results off that. Hopefully that'll last just as long, if not better. So let's get this thing going. We'll just make sure that's running okay at the moment. It looks like it is. I've left a couple of gaps here to get the air up, and the air will come up through and under the pots. Well, let's just start in there nicely. Let's pop that on the top. Try and get it as even as I can around the base. And then put the big boy on top of that. So there's plenty of air gaps underneath here for the water to keep going, and I'll just pop it there. You can see the candle glowing away nicely. What I'll do now is just put a little bit of crock on the top, just to take the top, cover the top of the hole, but still let the air and smoke out. I've just zeroed the max and min thermometer, so that'll be an interesting sight to have a look at. And the other thing I will do is keep a record of how long the actual candle burns and how many hours, and say hopefully we'll get over 100 out of this one. Well, morning all. We had a really hefty frost last night. I'm just going to check out the temperatures in the greenhouse. We'll look at the one in the garden first. It's absolutely freezing in there. It's still minus 1.2 now, and during the night it's been down to minus 4.1. So this greenhouse is quite sheltered, so be interesting to see what the one on the allotment has held overnight. Looks nice and fresh anyway. As you can see there, it is 0.4 and it went down to -1. So that's like a 3-degree difference, and the allotment greenhouse does get a lot colder because it's in like a pocket in the corner. There's no shelter at all for it, so I'm pretty happy with that. What I did do, I did a little modification to the candle holder, and I took the big pot off because the mass of the pot, it was taking an absolute age to heat up. Even after one day it was barely warm, so I took it off, just put this one on top, and the air gap's quite small, but it I mean, that there is quite warm, that is, so that's done the trick, I think. And so there, just a quick look again. Only went down to -1, so I'm happy with that, with the 3 degree, at least 3 degree difference. I just thought it'd been 4 or 5 difference at least.